figure stepping out of the white light. In one smooth action, the new arrival closed the distance between himself and Turnborn and chopped the big man in the neck with the edge of his hand. Turnborn collapsed with precisely none of the grace or majesty of a toppled redwood. He merely fell in a sprawled heap, groaning faintly. The light from the portal blinked out, leaving me face to face with one I had not seen in many, many years. "Well, well," I said by way of welcome. He said nothing, merely raised the left corner of his mouth approximately 1/8 of an inch, in what generously might have been construed to be a smile. He pushed his small, round, dark glasses a bit further up his long, straight nose. I looked at him and immediately realized I had assumed all along he had survived. There had never been any question in my mind, not about Arundel. Arundel, who knows the secrets no one else knows. Arundel, who holds the keys to long-forgotten locks. Arundel, who watches, always watches. He looked, of course, exactly the same as he had so many centuries before, when he had stood there in the main square of the city, aloof and above it all, refusing to get involved. I had hated him then. I was not at all certain those feelings had changed in a mere millennium. Thin of body, short of stature, with long straight hair that was a negative image of my own, pale white to match the pallor of his skin. He wore a cream-colored business suit of indeterminate vintage and carried a silver walking stick in his left hand, the index finger of which also displayed a silver ring. A large red stone sparkled within it. Arundel, whom I regarded with some measure of admiration and respect. Arundel, whom I disliked and suspected. Arundel, who in some small, indefinable way I feared. Okay, so there's Lucian. It's handy to have you. And let's see, we've got about 24 minutes left, so I'll save like the last 15 minutes or so if anybody wants to buy anything to sign or anything, or any questions. So let me do a little bit, I'll do a little bit of the Sherlock Holmes, one of the Sherlock Holmes stories, just a little bit. You can certainly try if you'd like. I have two shorter Holmes stories in this book. One involves a murder at a soccer stadium. Because when I was asked to contribute to this book, I thought, okay, I love Sherlock Holmes. Hello, Purdue. And I love English soccer, so I had to set one there. Then they asked me to do another one. And the other one, I said, well, now I want to use some of the other sort of tropes of Holmesian drama. Hey, baby. And let me see. So which one? You want to hear the soccer stadium one or the international crisis? Soccer murder or international crisis?
Soccer murder.
Soccer? Okay.
What team?
Chelsea. It's a match between Chelsea and Fulham, who are right down the road from each other in West London. And the name of it is The Problem at Stamford Bridge, because I had recently read and watched Jeremy Brett's performance of The Problem at Thor Bridge, and so Chelsea's stadium is called Stamford Bridge, and I thought, oh, instead of The Problem at Thor Bridge, The Problem at Stamford Bridge. All right, so let me see. Yeah, you want to? Take a crack. Come do like the first two paragraphs. How's that work? This is Maddie, and that's Mira. There you go. You want to do that part? Okay. Go ahead.
I had not encountered Sherlock Holmes in a matter of several weeks at the very least, my private medical practice being back in full swing again, with a rather unexpected document arrived in the post, addressed to me. It came not from Holmes himself. Indeed, it bore no indication whatsoever that accepting it would lead me into one of the more remarkable adventures that he and I had shared. Thus it was in a state of profound ignorance that I tore open the letter and studied its contents.
Great, thank you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay. Oh, you okay, baby? You okay, sweetheart? Now she wants to do a paragraph. Or she's going to rearrange the furniture. Okay. It was, the letter, in short, an invitation to attend a football match on the following Sunday afternoon at the recently opened stadium in West London, in the borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, to be precise. Thank you, ma'am. It had come to me by way of Sir Stephen Wyatt, a gentleman of some means who had once been a patient of mine. I had diagnosed his ailment where a variety of other medical men had failed, and he had gone on to make a full recovery. Being a conscientious sort, as well as a man of no small wealth, he previously expressed his appreciation with a fine turkey at Christmas time and a package of top-shelf tobacco this Holmes had smoked the greater part of, unfortunately, before I was able to avail myself of it. Now had come this invitation and ticket to a football match. Being no great fan of football or of most sports in general, and honestly believing whatever debt the gentleman imagined he owed me long since settled, I at first set the invitation aside and considered discarding it altogether. Perhaps only a vague curiosity kept me from doing so. Finally, however, I decided that the weather being relatively pleasant outside and my wife being away on family business, I would undertake the short journey to West London and meet Sir Stephen at the match. And so it was that I, Dr. John Watson, was in attendance at the sparkling new stadium called Stamford Bridge on that cool April afternoon when two famous players most literally collided on the field of play, and when an occasionally violent sport became the vehicle for outright murder. The two celebrated players indeed collided, and not 20 yards from where I stood near the center of one sideline. As the ball they had both gone for bounced away and into the possession of others, the two shoved one another back and forth, and then fisticuffs ensued. Each had given and received substantial blows before the referee managed to interpose himself between the two hulking men and separate them.